A few years ago, Bill Gates lost the number one spot on the billionaires list to Jeff Bezos, and with his tech peers gaining tens of billions per year, it looks like he's only going to be trending down over the next couple of years. After all, Elon Musk managed to gain more than Bill Gates' entire net worth in just 2020 alone. Despite this though, I think Bill Gates is still the number one billionaire and will continue to be the number one billionaire for a long time to come. And here's why. Well, starting off, when I say that Bill Gates is the number one billionaire, I don't mean that he leads in any specific category per se. If we look at wealth alone, the title would go to Jeff Bezos. And if we look at importance and influence alone, the title would likely go to Elon Musk. But I'm not talking about any single measure. Rather, I'm talking about Bill Gates from an overall perspective, as from this view, he still reigns supreme by far. To illustrate this, let's begin by looking at the easiest measure, his wealth. Today, he stands at about $130 billion. And though that's the third highest in the entire world, Jeff Bezos is actually a full 40% ahead of him. However, there's one major point that we should keep in mind, which is that the only reason Bill Gates is at $130 billion today is because he chose to be there. You see, Bill Gates chose to stop aggressively growing his wealth over 2 decades ago, in 1994. Ironically, that's the same year that Amazon was started, meaning that Bill Gates was wrapping up his journey when Jeff Bezos was just starting his. Anyways, Bill Gates owned a full 45% of Microsoft when they went public in 1986, and he retained the vast majority of that position up until 1994. But starting in 1994, Bill Gates decided to heavily scale back from his Microsoft ownership. In fact, as of March 2020, he has watered down his Microsoft stake down to just 1.36%. Now, this was definitely the smart thing to do, as holding virtually your entire net worth in one company is not the best idea. Despite that though, that's basically what everyone else at the top has done with the exception of Warren Buffett. If Bill Gates didn't decide to play conservative like his peers, he would be far ahead of Jeff Bezos today. For instance, let's say Bill Gates only liquidated 5% of his Microsoft stake for living expenses and various side projects that every billionaire seems to have today. Bill Gates could have easily retained a 40% stake in Microsoft considering their strong profitability from day one. Unlike many IPOs today, Microsoft was profitable when they went public, and they did not go public to raise capital by any means. One of the main reasons they even went public was to create a long-term exit strategy. With that being said, their market cap is currently $1.65 trillion, and a 40% stake would translate to a whopping $660 billion. In fact, Bill Gates only needed to hold on to 11.5% to still be number one today. And who knows where Microsoft stock would be today if Bill Gates hadn't stepped down and had continued to lead the company. I'm sure he wasn't oblivious to this fact. He saw a computer-filled future way back in the 1970s. So I'm sure he knew that computers would only become more dominant as we crossed into the new millennium. And sure, there was going to be ups and downs and sideways movement, but the overall trajectory was surely upwards. Despite that, he was simply satisfied and wanted to focus on other endeavors. And that brings me on to my next point, which is that he is one of the only billionaires who has had the heart to call it quits. Most billionaires end up working till the day they die. Just take a look at Warren Buffett. He's 90 years old and is worth upwards of $90 billion. Yet, he continues to just keep chugging away. Now, of course, a lot of this can be explained by the fact that most billionaires love what they do, and they don't feel the need to quit. At the same time though, there are many other pleasures in life that they should likely try out as well. Bill Gates stepped down from being Microsoft CEO right at the turn of the millennium in January of 2000 at age 44. He did take on the role of chairman and chief software architect, but these were really more of an oversight/guidance role as opposed to a hands-on role. Concurrently, he founded the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in 2000, and through this foundation, he has donated a total of $50 billion, or the same amount of money that the 25th richest person in the entire world has. On top of this, Bill Gates has played a full-time role at his foundation and ensured to the best of his ability that his money was spent well. It's one thing to sign the giving pledge and be willing to give 99% of your wealth to charity. That itself is an extremely commendable act. But Bill Gates has taken that to the next level by dedicating the last 20 years of his life, and likely the rest, to said cause. And the results have been extraordinary. In the year 2000, the World Health Organization reported that 60% of worldwide measles deaths occurred in sub-Saharan Africa. By 2015, however, measles vaccination rates in several parts of Africa were higher than that of North America. I'm sure anti-vaxxers in the US played a role in that, but this is nonetheless an excellent achievement. Evidently, Bill Gates has not only made extreme sums of money, but he has also given away extreme amounts in effective manners. At the same time, he has also not held back on splurging on his own life and living it to the fullest. He doesn't have 10 or 33 homes or anything like that, but he does have one super awesome house and 3 modest vacation homes. Bill Gates' main residence is a $127 million mansion located in Medina, Washington. The house tops 66,000 square feet with 7 bedrooms and 18.75 bathrooms. It also has a trampoline room and a reception hall with capacity up to 200 guests. On top of this, it also has 6 kitchens and a 23-car garage. Clearly, Bill Gates didn't hold back when building this house. But at the same time, it's not too over the top. For instance, it's nowhere near as lavish as Trump Tower and Mar-a-Lago or Ambani's $2 billion skyscraper. Similarly, Bill Gates owns 2 super nice Gulfstream G650s, but it's no Boeing 757 or Airbus A380, both of which he could have easily afforded. As you can see, Bill Gates loves to indulge in nice things, but these purchases are usually made with practicality and use in mind, and he has little interest in being opulent or flashy. Moving on, another sector that Bill Gates shines in is of course his family life. In the world of billionaires and celebrities, scandals, divorces, and artificial families are commonplace. With Bill Gates, on the other hand, he has been married to Melinda since 1994 and has 3 kids, the oldest being born in 1996 and the youngest being born in 2002. Considering that Bill Gates stepped down from his position as CEO in 2000, he was likely able to spend significant amounts of time with all of his kids as they were growing up, unlike most billionaires. Take Elon Musk for example. Though his contributions to society are outstanding, the journey there was not easy by any stretch of the imagination. It's not uncommon for him to sleep in Tesla factories for extended periods of time, and he consistently works 100+ hours per week. While this is awesome for shareholders, the EV market, and the space market, I'm not quite sure that his family really appreciates this behavior. Anyways, going back to Bill Gates, though he has likely been able to spend large amounts of time with his kids, he has been very careful to not spoil them. In fact, he's only leaving behind a mere $10 million per kid, or a total of $30 million. To put that in perspective, even with Bill Gates' 1.36% stake in Microsoft stock only has to go up 29 cents for Bill Gates to make $30 million. So clearly not very much money for Bill at all. After all, he's essentially giving each child $1 for every $13,000 he has. It looks like Bill has really taken his friend Warren Buffett's advice to heart. Leave your children enough money so they can do anything, but not enough that they don't have to do anything. At the end of the day, I think we can clearly pick out one pattern from Bill Gates that others at the top don't have, which is balance. Mega billionaires generally excel in a handful of areas, but drop the ball on most other things. They might be an outstanding businessman or a leading salesperson, but they're oftentimes not the best parent or the nicest person per se. However, this is not the case with Bill Gates. He made extreme amounts of money running Microsoft and could have made hundreds of billions more. But when he started building a family, he scaled out. And over the years, though he hasn't spent his time in a 1958 house driving a Cadillac like Warren Buffett, he also hasn't splurged on dozens of houses and toys along the way. Finally, with the time he has left, he has tried his best to ensure that the money he is donating is spent as effectively and as intentionally as possible. And though he may not be the best in any one of these realms, he has tried his best to maintain a balance and has made significant progress in all of them. Thus, if you're aspiring to be a billionaire, I think Bill Gates is the one to follow. Do you guys think Bill Gates is a dope billionaire? Comment that down below. Also, drop a like if you guys think all of the conspiracies surrounding his name is a shame. And of course, consider joining our Discord community to suggest future video ideas, and consider subscribing to see more questions logically answered. But until then, I'm Hari, and I'll see you guys on the next one.